has done to me, to my nation, is tremendous. Whatever government has given me sponsorship, from the income tax payer, so of course for rakyat, for example, duit rakyat. Tapi without them being there, without them being given me scholarship, being given me to study in boarding school. I'm from Sedar, anyway, with Azwan, same. It's my junior. So that's the equation, Without them being given me this duit rakyat to study, I won't become like this today. I'm not saying I'm great or whatever, but I feel that I need to do something. I feel that I have to repay the kindness that they gave it to me. I also assume that most of you also feel the same. If you are being sponsored by father and mother, you might be having a different connotation altogether. But how do you get the connotation, as Professor Samsul Bari talked during Monash last week? He said about perception space. It's because of what you hear from something. Whether it's right or not is question mark. Whether some of the facts given by some can be debated. It's not true. You have seen Khairi Jamaluddin talk with Dato' Amiga? You have seen the effects. I'm not saying Khairi Jamaluddin is right, I'm not saying Dato' Amiga is right, but you can see that there's some discrepancies. And that's what Bersih is fighting for, discrepancies, and these are also some part of discrepancies. So it's a question of how you perceive things. I'm not saying they are right or they are wrong, no. You have to, as a human being, according to the rules of globalization nowadays, you have the internet, you have this, you have that, see what is right, what is wrong, and make your own judgment. That's all. Yeah, please.
Just a quick one. My name is Jehre, doing law in Monash. Just to add a comment on Science question and how you replied it. When I first heard a very pro-governmental led change talk, it's a very logical thing. I'm like, every country has a government, and the government is there to lead, is there to develop and change the country. So to me, it's actually fine to have a very government-led change talk. So
no, I'm not into it.
Yeah, it's okay. So
it's not okay.
It's just a point that the government is there to lead. But my question right now is, what would you tell the people, like students in foreign countries who go back because they have learned all this, the best of the Western countries and other countries. But you said that our country needs to change slowly and gradually, not like fast. So what would you tell this group of people? Because some of them, when they go back, they want immediate change. They are very disappointed in how...
Rebellious. As you can see, youngsters are rebellious, okay? Yeah.
Youngsters. So
I'm the older Malaysians.
I can understand that feeling, because when I go back home, it's like, oh, the transport system is not as good as Melbourne and all that so forth. But how would you tell them? Would you tell them to wait, or?
I won't tell them to wait. As I say, you must look at the facts and figures, correctly interpret it, how you perceive things. You can just make you can just see that Malaysia, as I said just now, Dr. Idris Jalas mentioned that Malaysia for the past 42 years has changed a lot, has developed a lot. Of course, you're making comparison with Melbourne, but if you stay in Madras or something, you also make comparison in Madras. Or if you stay in Moscow, so you make comparison also with Moscow. So it's not a question that just Melbourne. There are many students internationally. We have like hundreds of thousands of Malaysians, okay? And then we have like, Zaim said 1 million people in all over the world. Yes, it's true. But out of the 1 million people, I can just say that only 20% are those who are being, who are having the tertiary education, who's working in that kind of level. Well, those 20% are those, 80% are those like going, migrating other places in the world. Like in New York, when I was in New York, I was posted in New York. 250,000 are illegal Malaysians working in Chinatown. So that's how much already you're talking about. So back to your question, yes, we need progression, we need time, but don't make only comparison of what Melbourne can offer. Make a comparison what Darwin can offer. Okay? So you can see a balance. There must be a balance. Okay? And then talk about the question that government-led changes and everything. We have a lot of government-led changes. We have GTP, Government Transformation Program. We have Economic Transformation Program. Talking the Government Transformation Program, one is it of the NKRA of Jenayah. Okay, Jenayah. I myself faced a very difficult turmoil time because my mother was murdered in Malaysia last year. So if I go along with the idea, blah NKRA tak guna, then I will be a rebellion. But I don't. I said never mind, give change. I know it hurts me. because my own mother. If your mother passed away normally, it's a different issue. So, talking about it, give government a chance. I'm not saying that because I'm a government officer, but I think I need to repay the debt what government has offered to me. And you all also, please do the same thing. Not to say that you need to follow all A to Z, whatever government says. No, it's just that you use your judgment, think it correctly. Don't make comparison, oh, Melbourne can offer this, we can offer that. No, don't think about that. Think about what we can do for the Malaysian society and how we can do it. But do it properly, do it according to the rules of law. That's all. That's basically. Yes, please. Azwan.
I understand the question, and also I'd like to suggest that in terms of the way government treat the students who went overseas, studied overseas, they are like really well equipped with the scenario, such as like what happened in Australia right now. Like this, the speaker Dewan Rakyat, Mr. Slipper, he was like he was accused of having like some
sexual
scandal.
sexual, whatever.
Yeah, and then he sat down.
charge,
Yeah, and so like when we went back home, and then we see that ministers who have scandals, they don't have like respect like to step down for a while. So sometimes people who are like students went back, they are graduated, so they think like they need to engage with the government, but then the government are being so defensive. So like there's a lot of students actually want to be in the system and to change the government, but how suppose the government to address the student? Yeah.
I think it's a very ideal and good question you're posing. Also a good comment actually. In fact, the government is doing that right now. I think you can see the changes from those days and nowadays. You can see under the after Datuk Sri Najib, after Datuk Sri Abdullah Badawi, so I think a lot of changes are happening in Malaysia. There's a lot of engagement with politicians, and yet when it comes to 2008 election, then there are more changes actually. People understand that for political survivability, you need to engage, regardless of anything. Although you do progression, if you think you are big, oh I'm big already, I've got a contract, yeah, I've done this, I've done that, I've done that. But yet, for political survivability in Malaysia right now, I think because of globalization also plays a very important role. And because of social media itself, after 2004, we can see that the political landscape in Malaysia has changed. And it's more a two-tier system, two political system rather than a one-party system as such. And a lot of engagement have been done. Government has introduced talent cooperation in order to bring more people from overseas to come back to Malaysia. And government also is asking those sponsored students after they finish the study, don't stay here too longer. Like you were saying, just go back to Malaysia and work in Malaysia. There are many opportunities there. Of course, you're talking about income-wise. Malaysia is not that competitive compared with Australia. Yet you can see that what's happening in Australia nowadays might happen more. Australia is actually the brink of depression. It only depends on one sector itself, mining sector. A lot of job unemployment is happening also in Victoria itself. And looking at the two-trade economy, I can say that in 12 months' time to come, the unemployment rate of 6.2% will jump to 7.8%. So you go back to Malaysia. We have more chances there. Unemployment rate is very low. We want to become high-income developed nation. We want people like David to come there to become architecture in Malaysia. Architecture as real architecture, what I meant is. So please, to that I end my conversation anyway. Thank you.